Hello, Soul Family. I am Shannon Pardini, and I am here today with Leanne Vignay, and this is Quantum Heart Conversations. And we've been doing a wonderful series on the powerful healing effects of color. So, Leanne Vignay is a two-time medical award-winning inventor of the Rejuvenator therapy, science of light therapy pioneer, engineer, former submarine designer, Eastern medicine physician, medical researcher, international award-winning artist and professional speaker. And today, Leanne is going to definitely deep dive with us on the healing and detoxifying effects of the color green. And we're also going to be sharing on her green juvenator. Is that correct? What it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We can talk about that.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I'm excited to hear more about all of this. So I'm going to just pass the torch to you and allow you to just share more about your experience and background.
Okay, thank you, Shannon. Always love being here, helping you out, answering questions, explaining about the science behind the healing effects of color and light and energy medicine. So yeah, background wise, I started teaching about the science behind the healing effects of color and light over 17 years now, 17 years ago. And basically validated the science of light therapy for the masses and the medical community by connecting people with the understanding of the electromagnetic spectrum, sunlight, how we evolved to live and thrive under sunlight, how all the colors are actually within sunlight, and why they have these healing effects on our physical body and our energy body. Our energy body being an extension of the physical body. And yeah, so that was after obviously I left the engineering field, designing submarines for Lockheed, and then became an Eastern medicine physician, then an international award-winning artist. So I didn't plan to do all of this. It just kind of came about organically, but from me following my intuition about here, do this thing next. So the different colors that we've already talked about, red, orange, and yellow. Today we're going to be talking about green. They all have healing effects. So they all have different effects on the physical body and the energy body. We'll dive deeply into green today. As a background, because we've talked about this at the beginning of each video, to give people an understanding of the various colors, the colors that are found within sunlight are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So the only time you ever see those colors split up in the sky is when there's a rainbow. So, and that's when there are water droplets left in the air that the sunlight can reflect and refract through those water droplets, just like the Newton prism effect, where you shine sunlight through a glass prism and then it comes out and splits up into those 7 spectral colors. So the rainbow, when you see that in the sky, all those colors are always in sunlight bathing down on you, and they combine together to form white light. So what you perceive when you see sunlight and you see, light outdoors is white light, but it's actually all those colors are within sunlight. The time that you see my dog is like shaking his head. I'm like, what's going on? He's probably got something in his ear. The time that you see the spectral colors that are predominant at different times of day, like sunrise and sunset, when you'll see red, orange, and yellow as the sun is coming up, and red, orange, and yellow as the sun is going down. So at the time of day when there's more atmosphere and the sunlight has to come through more atmosphere, so the longer wavelengths of red, orange, and yellow can penetrate through, which is why you see the sky is red, orange, and yellowish at dawn and at dusk. And then as the sun gets higher in the sky, the shorter wavelengths of green, blue, indigo, violet, those start to come through. And that's when you see the blue sky. So that's kind of just the whole thing in a nutshell. But just to understand that every time you're out under sunlight, especially in the middle of the day, you're getting bathed in all of those color frequencies. So anyway, red, orange, and yellow are all stimulating colors. They are energizing, stimulating, uplifting, and green is a neutral energy color. And then blue, indigo, and violet are sedating, calming, oh, and cooling, and red, orange, and yellow are warming. So you can kind of feel that, you know, red is a warm color. You don't usually want to be surrounded by red when it's a hot day out. You're more drawn to cooling colors like blue, indigo, and violet. Green is a neutral energy color. So it is a balancing color as a result. So if you're feeling lethargic, it'll bring your energy up. And if you're feeling overly stimulated, agitated, it'll bring your energy down. Okay, so that's basic introduction. I'm going to let you jump in with any questions. So it was a long
No,
summary
it's
intro.
it's fantastic to hear how the waves work, you know, to hear what colors have these long waves that are penetrating our bodies and then the shorter waves and how we can use them to our advantage on the daily, you know, and I don't think a
Mhm.
lot of us have been taught this.
Yeah,
But
yeah, people don't really think in terms of like the fact that you're getting sunlight, colors every time you're outdoors under sunshine.
yeah, and then to have the neutrality of green, again, you know, we've learned, I think, over time with the chakras and so forth, that the heart is green for
Yeah.
neutrality and so forth. But yeah, no, it's amazing how much this does play into our lives, but we're subconsciously just not paying attention. And just what
Mhm.
you shared is such big aspects of our everyday life of how we're taking in the spectrum. So yeah, no, I
Yeah,
love it. I like
and
the
obviously, oh, go ahead,
no,
sorry.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you know, when you go out in nature, what color is everything in nature? I mean, there's different shades of green, but everything, and you know, except for flowers and that sort of thing, the leaves and all the trees and everything like that, that's all green. So every time you go out into nature, and I teach about this also, the importance of getting out into nature because there are healing energies that are in nature, that life force energy, chi, prana. We get bathed in that life force energy when you're in nature. Very different from sunshine. Sunshine you can get when you're in the middle of a city, but you're not getting the full benefit of being out in nature when you get sunshine in the city because it's still kind of a net negative effect because of all the toxic energies that are in cities and EMF and Wi-Fi and you know the stressful energies that you pick up from other people. But you go and immerse yourself in nature and then you get all of those healing quantum healing energies that are, you know, subtle energy, life force energy, chi prana. There's different names for it. You can actually see it when you go up and you're in nature and you look up at the sky. You can see it in cities too, but there's much less of it. So it's a very it's a tangible physical thing that you can feel when you go out in nature, which is why people feel they feel both energized and calm and relaxed when you go out in nature. So you get that green effect where it brings you up and it calms you down at the same time. So it's that balancing, bringing everything harmoniously together color.
Yeah, green is such a
And that's another reason why
nourishing.
it's really, yeah, very nourishing. And like you said, it's the one of the colors of the heart chakra. So which is the center chakra. We've got the root chakra, the, you know, the abdominal, there's different names for it. And then the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, you know, the third eye, the um, crown chakra, which correspond to the colors of the rainbow. So it goes red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So it's not a coincidence that we are so in tune and you know basically evolved to live and thrive under sunlight and all of these color frequencies. And the fact that when you go out in nature, it is so incredibly healing because you're bathed in that color green. So it's all around you. People really would benefit from spending a lot more time outdoors in nature, not just in the cities under the sun. But that's better than nothing, being outdoors under the sun. But when you get the combination of the life force energy, quantum healing energies in nature combined with the colors in the sunlight, then you get the double whammy effect.
Yeah,
in a
it's
good way.
incredible. It's springtime here in San Francisco, and so I usually go over to the other side, Marin County, and I like to go hike, and everything is so lush. And I was out there yesterday really grounding in because I am in
Mhm.
San Francisco all the time.
Yeah.
And it was just, to me, I could feel how nourished I felt being on those trails and seeing all the spring flowers, but everything is just so bright green right now. And
Mhm.
inside my body, just the harmony and the frequency, just thinking about it right now, I'm still lit up. And that's the amazing thing is, I feel like that wave, everything, the spectrums that I was feeling yesterday is just still completely running through me,
Mhm.
on a
Yeah,
whole
and
level.
you like you said, you can even just remembering that, you can bring that healing energy back to you, cycling it through, focusing on the color, imagine the color in your mind's eye. The best thing is being out in nature, but it's like you're gonna have a several day benefit from being immersed in those healing energies and those color frequencies, even after you come back to the city. But then you find, then you start to, the city effect starts to kind of take over, and then the energy depletion part can take over unless you're replenishing that energy on a constant basis, which is how we used to live and thrive, when we used to be connected with the land back, when people worked and lived on the land and they had their farms and they were constantly out connecting with nature. But now, with people being in cities and so often closed up indoors in these hermetically sealed environments and with artificial heating and artificial air conditioning and artificial lighting, that's where illness and disease comes from, because you're just completely disconnected from these healing energies that are so abundant and everywhere around us. So it's a matter of getting people to realize that it's like you have these free healing tools at your disposal. Of course, if you are in a city like you do have to go out of the city, you have to get out of the city, so to be surrounded in those healing energies. So
Yeah,
but making the time to do that is what's important.
yeah, you bring something up because I used to live on and off the Garden Island, Kauai, for a couple of
Oh,
years. So I used to go back and forth a lot. And I was such a different person. When I would come back to the city, I could still feel the elements of the island. It was just all those spectrums, that color was inside me, and you could even see it in my eyes. Like when
mm-hmm,
I came home, there's just a whole different quality of frequency that your body becomes when you're immersed in nature like that. And it was
mm-hmm,
a craving. And so I remember during that time, I would just crave to get back on the island, not
mm-hmm,
really understanding what was happening, but at the same time, I could look in my eyes and just see a completely different person with taking in all this, like, just nourishment just from,
mm-hmm.
nature, which is so amazing. So I wanted to bring that up because, again, it is amazing subconsciously how we're not paying attention to this and how much it is such a big part of us. I know a lot of us like to get out there, but again, when you're living on an island or somewhere lush and remote like you are, there's just so much to be said about being in these environments. You just really get
Mm-hmm.
tuned in.
Yeah. Yeah. And very good point about getting tuned in, because when you are, basically your life force energy is charged up. So your life force energy gas tank literally gets filled up. I use the analogy where we're like a car. So we have a life force energy gas tank. And when people have illness or disease, or they're exhausted or depleted, or they're, before they even start getting really sick, that usually they start off with fatigue. I'm tired all the time and I have to drink coffee constantly throughout the day, or they take these, you know, supplements that give them these artificial bursts of energy, which then you have a crash from afterwards, and then you have to take more and more of them. And those just create this downward spiral. So, but when you're really with your life force energy gas tank is nice and topped off from filling it up, then you are so much more in tune and connected with, higher states of consciousness, and you're able to get all these insights and downloads, as I call them, where you get a lot of clear guidance as to where you should be going with your life, and clarity about that. So there's no struggle anymore. you're just like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do next. I don't know why. I'm just getting this download and this is what I should do. So I do it, and then it becomes clear afterwards. But in order to be able to get that information, you do have to have that, like you said, you can see it in your eyes when your gas tank is nice and topped off. You actually have all of those color frequencies correspond to different energy systems in the body, and they're all interconnected energy systems, but each color nourishes a different energy system. So having all of them topped off is where then you're like in this state of abundance and optimal health.
Yeah, I love all these qualities that we're tapping into with nature, and it's just amazing too to see how resourceful animals are. It's, with my cat, she's a city cat, but she knows which plants to take over in this apartment, and I can just see that she needs more nourishment, and I want to get her outside as soon as she gets a little bit older. But yeah, it's the healing effects of green and nature and with ourselves and animals, it's pretty brilliant what we're called to with the frequency, essentially. It's like,
yeah, and obviously different plants and different foods have different frequencies based on the colors that they are. But yeah, animals are extremely intuitive. They will go, like my dogs will go outside and they'll eat all kinds of different plants and grasses, and it's like that's their salad bar kind of thing. I feed them a raw food diet and vegetables, but it's like they know if there's something that they need and they go out and get it themselves, because we have so many edible plants that surround us, and a lot of people aren't even aware. They think they're weeds, they pull them out, they use pesticides and herbicides to kill things, and then they cause all this toxicity. So you don't want to let your dogs eat plants if they've been sprayed with anything. But anyway, yeah, so they'll be very drawn to the color green. Animals in general will want to go outside and spend time in sunlight. You'll see them sometimes, and it's not because they're cold. They're just like soaking up all the color rays and those healing frequencies that are in sunshine. And then they want to be on the ground. They want to be connecting with the earth. So they love that. But having a variety of green plants that are edible for your pets, if you have indoor pets or you don't get to take them out in the country or whatever, having some things indoors that are edible for them is really beneficial. So we can go off on a tangent on that too. So, but green being the color of plants. So, but in green, with the chlorophyll that's in the plants that makes the color green is very similar in structure to blood, hemoglobin in our own bodies. So that's why they've done research in the past and, cancer treatments where they will use different, chlorophyll derived substances for putting into the body and then coming with infrared frequencies and blast the cancer cells that way. You don't really hear about people using that stuff anymore because they don't really focus on healing cancer in the Western medical realm, because they're more focused on giving you chemo and radiation, things that don't actually work, that make your body more toxic. So healing anything, including cancer, is simply a matter of detoxifying, getting the toxic sludge out of the system and filling up that life force energy gas tank. It's actually really simple. I've had countless people that have completely healed from even stage 4 cancers, brain glioblastoma, I mean, you name it, following just that, put the healing energies in and get the toxins out. And that's one of the things that green is particularly good at doing, is detoxifying. So that's one of the things that the Green Rejuvenator does, excels at. So what else can we talk about with the color green in general? The balancing aspect, which is very important. And one of the things that the color green, if people are drawn to the color green, because you'll see, like, you very rarely hear people say, oh, my favorite color is green. Sometimes, but usually it's like, oh, my favorite color is red or orange or yellow or blue or, violet or things like that, because, and that kind of can tell you the person's constitution. Like, for example, I love the color red. I have lots of red in my house. I don't paint my walls red because I like to have neutral colored walls and furniture, but I have red, large red paintings of mine, and then other things that are splashes of red or red accents or red toaster and my red KitchenAid mixer and all that stuff in the kitchen, and my red, you know, Dutch oven, things that like when I see them, it gives me that little burst of energy because red is an energizing color. And that's like, because that's kind of my battery recharge color. It's my go-to color because it keeps my energy nice and up, and I'm a very high energy person. You don't usually hear about people saying my favorite color is green. I don't hear that one very often, but people will sometimes, depending on what's going on in their body and what's going on in their life, they will crave certain colors that aren't necessarily their favorite go-to, constitutional color. So when you find yourself feeling particularly drawn to green, one of the things that I see very often is like people are at a crossroads in their life. They are like at a point where I have to make a decision. Should I go here or should I go here or here? Like I've got all these choices or options, or I'm feeling stuck where I am and I go somewhere and I don't know which direction to go. So craving the color green will actually help give you clarity about your direction in life. And that's the spirit aspect of the color green. The Hoon, where it gives you clarity about your direction. So it's like, I've had periods in my life, not so much recently because I'm pretty clear on where I'm going, but in the past when I've been at these crossroads and I'm like, I don't know which direction to go. Should I stay here? Should I move here? Should I go? Like, what should I do? And then I'd be like, everything. I'd be out shopping. Everything I'm seeing is green. Like, oh, I love these green towels. I love these green sheets. And I'd be buying. So I'd buy like all the stuff for my home to be surrounded in green. And then, oh, I love this green purse. Like, and I'm like, why am I craving green? And then I realized, oh, because it gives me clarity. And it does. So you actually can temporarily crave all these things. That's why it's really nice to have, one in neutral walls and neutral furniture, and then be able to bring in splashes of color, change the pillows on your sofa, change the towels in your bathroom, change the bedding on your bed. And you can change the whole energy of the room just by doing those things, putting a different blanket on the back of the sofa. So, and you can walk in, it feels like a completely different room just by changing a few things. And then it's like, oh, and now I've got clarity. I don't need color green so much anymore. Like having plants in your house obviously is a huge benefit because they're not just giving you the color green. They actually clean the air. Some do massive amounts of air cleaning. So real plants, it's not just about, this is actually a real plant that is so healthy it looks fake.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like this amazing plant, and I don't even, it doesn't need much water. Anyway, I love those kind of plants that.
Well, I love
Yeah,
knowing too, it's that, when we're contemplative, that green is what's, it's a color that we go to for heart and meaning. That makes so much sense. It's funny to pay attention to us craving in that way too, because that makes, when I'm contemplating or when I know that I want to receive a download of what, creative next I'm going to do, I always go outdoors.
Yeah.
Like it's just, there's just this one area that I'll go to, this one trail, but it always, like every career I've ever concepted in the last like 15 years, it's always been on these trails where I just go to that specific spot. And I never put that together until you just mentioned that.
Yeah, and because you intuitively know, it's like you might not consciously be thinking, but you're kind of like, oh, and you might not even be thinking, I need a download, I need to figure this thing out. You're just like, all of a sudden, I really want to get out and go to that trail. And then you get the download, you get the information that you're seeking. And like I said, a lot of times people aren't consciously thinking in that way. But when you get these feelings like, oh, I really feel like I want to go spend time in nature, then go spend time in nature. Like, do it, don't do it. Well, I'm busy, I have my appointment, I have to go get my car oil changed and all these other things. It's like, no, make it a priority to do that sort of stuff, especially if you get a message, I'm really craving being around some trees or trees and running water. phenomenal for, getting downloads. But yeah, it's like a lot of times people push this stuff to the back burner because they don't realize how important it is and how important it is for our own health and healing process to be able to like have these color frequencies in, and we absorb them through our eyes, we absorb them like through our body, through our energy body, just being surrounded by them. We get them through our skin. You can shine colored light on your body and get all these healing effects. And, like the Green Juvenator is phenomenal for, detoxifying and putting these healing energies. And that what we haven't talked about this yet in the 5 elements system. When I was talking about the energy system, we have these energy lines that flow through our body. They're called meridians or energy channels. They have different names. If you've ever been to an acupuncturist, they call them meridians. Typically, part of my Eastern medicine training when I was an acupuncturist, it's like there's these energy channels that circulate through the body and they come up to the surface at different points. Just like you can't see it, but there's an electrical outlet right here. Just like we have electrical outlets where we have electrical wiring that runs behind the wall, and every once in a while we have an electrical outlet. So if you want to be able to turn on your lamp, you have to plug it into the electrical outlet. You can't just plug it into drywall or the rocks on your wall or whatever. You have to go and tap into the actual outlet. That's the same thing with acupuncture. The needles go in where there are basically these electrical outlets that tap into the energy system. So you can move energy around, you can alleviate blockages of energy, you can redistribute the energy that's already in the system. What acupuncture won't do is put energy into the system. So it won't fill up your life force energy gas tank. But if it's like the energy's stuck over here and I need some more over here, you can redistribute it by, properly choosing the points where you put the needles. But the life force energy is kind of a missing component. That's why a lot of times people go and get acupuncture and it can help with certain things, but it won't, if your life force energy gas tank is running on fumes, you need to fill up that life force energy gas tank. So that's a really fundamental part of the whole healing process that often gets overlooked.
Totally. I had no idea. I actually thought that we were getting life force energy when we're doing the needles with acupuncture. And so it's not,
no,
it's facilitating the energies into all the other different meridians.
Yes, well, you might think of it as an antenna, but like if somebody's very depleted, the acupuncture needles there are different needling techniques to break up stagnation or to call energy to the needle. So the benefit of using needles is that the practitioner can stick in the needles and then the needles do the work. So they keep calling the chi or breaking up the stagnation even after the practitioner goes and works with 3 other patients. Energy work, energy medicine. So if you have an energy healer, energy medicine practitioner that's doing acupuncture or certain types of Japanese acupuncture, which involve the practitioner focusing and putting energy into the system, that's a very different practice but it involves the practitioner taking that and putting the energy in. So it's an active part of the treatment, but just sticking needles in doesn't bring energy into the system. So but it will move the energy around. It will, like I said, alleviate blockages or move energy to areas where it's like depleted. And there's all this, like the way that the point feels tells you if there's a blockage or if it's like depleted. So different needling techniques to either bring the chi there or to, break up the congestion. Congestion is just the word I'm using, but stagnation is the more common term. But anyway, yeah, so that's why it will work for certain things, and it can work very effectively for breaking up. Like when somebody has knee pain and they're not getting, the energy's not flowing through the meridians that's going to the knee. So you get like a big blockage and then everything starts hurting because the muscles aren't getting the energy they need. The joint isn't getting the energy. The joint isn't being held in place by the muscles that are supposed to hold it in place, ligaments and tendons. Ligaments and tendons are directly connected with liver gallbladder energy, which corresponds to the color green. So it will alleviate the blockages and help the energy to flow through. But you do need to fill up the life force energy gas tank. So otherwise you're just chasing, symptoms. So putting the energy, like when I worked with my patients, because I'm also an energy practitioner, I would always put energy into the system, and I also practiced Zen Shiatsu when I was seeing one-on-one patients. Now I work with tens of thousands of people around the world, so I don't do one-on-one patient work anymore. But I teach people all this stuff in our free community. I teach them how to think about healing in terms of healing the energy body, bringing up the energy in the life force energy gas tank or the battery, whatever analogy you want to use. We're just like our cell phones, every day we're consuming that life force energy. We use it throughout the day. Some days you might use a lot more because you have a super busy day. If you have anything that's stressful, that will really deplete your life force energy gas tank. It's like being on your phone all day long and, surfing the web and having phone calls. And then your battery, by 5 o'clock, it's like, oh, I've got to recharge my phone. I've already used up my whole battery for the day. We have days like that. So there are things that will deplete your life force energy gas tank a lot faster, like stress, like, eating an unhealthy diet. Like stress is a huge one, though. That's what I see so often, where people are under stress. Even you can imagine, like, let's say you're having a normal day and then you get in an argument with your partner or your, family member or whatever, and you get in an argument and then you just feel exhausted afterwards because they've just, that whole process has just siphoned off a lot of your life force energy. And then, you might go and medicate yourself by drinking alcohol afterwards because you're so stressed out. Now I just need a drink. So, and then that taxes the liver gallbladder energy, which has already been hit. And then it makes it even more, challenging. So it puts in toxins into the system. So that's where people will often get into these vicious cycles, these looping things where they'll be under stress and then they medicate. And I used to do that myself, for years when I, working as an engineer, and it was stressful and I didn't like it. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing in this lifetime. And then drinking alcohol to alleviate the stress. And then my liver was getting more and more depleted to the point that it just wouldn't detoxify anything. And I got so hypersensitive to pretty much anything and everything that I ate. Oh my God, it was terrible. But I learned from that. And I learned it's not about putting more stuff into the system. This is where you often see people have toxicity symptoms. It'll often start off with neck pain. And then they'll be like, oh, it's because I have bad, ergonomics at my computer. Yes, that can exacerbate it. But the gallbladder meridian runs up here. And the reason I'm talking about liver gallbladder is because the color of the liver gallbladder energy system, which is the wood element, is green. So that's why people respond so powerfully to the color green if you're under stress and you go out in nature. Oh, this is amazing. And you just like drink it up. But and that's the same color as the green Juvenator, obviously. But so the gallbladder meridian starts here at the outer corner, canthus at the outer corner of the eye, and then it goes around here, around the ear to this point, zigzags up here to the middle point of the forehead, then comes back here. And this is on both sides, by the way. So if I go here, goes here, up here, then back over the head, and then back to these points at the occiput, which get very tender on people that are under stress. When you touch them back here, it's like so tender. And these points at the occiput, and then the meridian continues here, top of the shoulders. So when the energy gets stuck, people get like so tense here.
They get
and it's like
up.
they have no, yeah, like it's like their neck disappears because people that are super tense, they're like this all the time, and they're like, drop your shoulders. It's like, that's as far as they go. It's like, no, they go down like here. So, but some people are so tense and all this energy is stuck up here that's like, they're like that all the time. And they're just like, and you feel their shoulders and they're like, rocks up here. And then they'll often get headaches, and they can get headaches on one side of the head or the other. They can get headaches at the occiput or like top of the head or forehead. I mean, there's a number of different places and it's directly because the different parts of the meridian will get blocked. So then it comes down here, top of the shoulders. There are these extensions of the meridians that are in the Zen Shiatsu, Masanaga meridians that got lost from China a long time ago. So they're not included in TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. But they're extremely powerful parts of the meridian. So there's like half of the meridians in Chinese medicine are missing. So the extension of the gallbladder meridian comes down here, and the middle of the arm, basically where soldier stripes would be if you were wearing a military uniform, down the arm, and then here, and then to the third finger. So when people have carpal tunnel, for example, that's pretty much always related to blockage in the gallbladder meridian. They think, well, it's like because I'm using my mouse. Yes, that can exacerbate it, but the root is stuck energy in the liver gallbladder energy system. So you can, squeeze points on the meridian here or here, and you can completely alleviate all the blockage that they're feeling in their hands, like even numbness and pain and stuff like that. So then the part of the meridian goes down the arm, and then the other part, there's an offshoot, it goes around the scapula. So like I can't reach it, but my scapula is here. So it goes around and then comes here. And that's where you often hear people that have pain. They'll get like stabbing pain around the scaps, or one side or the other, or both. Or the vertebrae, they'll get pain in the back in that upper area, basically for women, kind of where your bra strap is, a little bit higher than that. And then it comes down, so it loops around, then comes to the midline, and then it goes down. Then the rest is like going down this side of the body, all the way down the side of the leg. Again, where if you were wearing a military uniform, where the soldier stripes would be on the leg, and then down to the fourth toe. So people will get pain, in the hips, knees, having hip pain on one side that then throws your whole body out of alignment, or knees, the dog barking inside. That all of that is usually attributed to toxicity in the liver gallbladder energy system. So a lot of symptoms that are very common that a lot of people experience. And then when they tell me I've got this going on, and I've got that, and I've got this and the other thing, and then I'm like, oh, that's all tied into the same thing. You may have 5 Western medical doctors treating all of those different symptoms, but in my world, those are all the same thing. And this is how you fix it. It's like, get the toxins out and fill up the life force energy gas tank. And then when liver gallbladder energy system goes out of balance, it almost always eventually affects spleen, stomach. So then you start having digestive issues, and you start, having soft stools, or like a lot of times people think that, we're going to talk about poop here for a moment, but like that long extruded, bowel movements, like that's normal. It's not. If your poop looks like a long cigar, that's spleen Qi deficiency. So and often the starting point is liver gallbladder toxicity and stress, and then it overflows and affects spleen stomach energy. We talked about that last time. We talked about orange and yellow because those are the colors of spleen stomach energy. So anyway, do you have any questions? Download and deliver a lot of information.
It all makes it makes perfect sense, and it's nice to see the root and then the layers on top, right? We're kind of working backwards, but it's nice to pick up on everything and then, catch on where the meridians, like, even with the detox pathways back here, that makes such perfect sense with how you're explaining how some of these meridians got lost along the way. Well,
yeah,
there is so much that we can do by just, what you just shared of, working with the areas.
Having the understanding that everything is about energy and frequency, and everything that's happening in your physical body is downstream from what happens in the energy body. So you focus on treating and healing the energy body and keeping that life force energy gas tank nice and full, and opening up the blockages in the energy channels, and all the illness and disease goes away. So, when people have torn rotator cuff or shoulder pain, or even anything, long-standing injuries, like maybe 10 years ago they tore their rotator cuff and it's never felt the same since then, you can completely heal all of that. So you heal the physical tissue. That's what the rejuvenator and the rejuvenator do. You heal the physical tissue, and it also opens up the blockages in the energy channels and fills up the life force energy gas tank. So it heals the root. It's like, why did you injure the shoulder in the first place? Same thing with knee injury. Like when people have injuries in different body parts, you know, and sometimes like if you get hit by a car, that's a different thing, you know, like, but I mean injuries where it's like somebody, let's say you pick up, you know, a suitcase a gazillion times, or you pick up, I don't know, a box in your house and you've done it 1,000 times, or, and it's never hurt you before, but you picked up something one day and all of a sudden it's like you tear the rotator cuff. It's because the muscles that are supposed to be keeping the shoulder joint in its proper place are not getting the energy that they need because of the blockage in the energy meridians that go through there. So it starts with a blockage in the free flow of energy, like a kink in your garden hose. You know, if you have a kink in the garden hose, you go to the other end to water your prize winning rose bush and nothing, no water comes out, or it's like just barely trickling because there's a big kink in the hose. So you're like, oh, the kink in the hose. So you go open up the kink in the hose. If you have a low level in your gas tank, though, you can open up the kinks and you still won't get any water because there's not enough water and energy in there to flow through. So you have to turn up the volume on the faucet. So that's what I, you know, described, turning up the volume on the faucet. Like then you get a nice flow of, you know, water energy coming through, and then you can water your prize winning rose bush. But if you just opening up the kinks isn't enough either. You need to increase the volume. You need to increase the amount of life force energy in the system so it's available to all of the different parts, physical parts of the body, the organs, you know, the brain, the eyes. The eyes are controlled by liver gallbladder energy also. Again, all of this is color green. So any problems with the eyes, whether floaters or, you know, cataracts or glaucoma or age-related macular degeneration or retinal thinning or uveitis or any of these issues that, or even just like weakening vision, it's all connected to liver gallbladder energy. So you focus on detoxifying and healing liver gallbladder energy, and you can heal the eyes directly at the same time because there's an eye protocol with the number 3 rejuvenator for directly healing the eyes. And then you get restored vision. All of these things that Western medicine tells you are not healable or reversible. So we have tons of people that have healed age-related macular degeneration. They don't have to do those drops. They don't have to do any of these surgical procedures, you know, cataracts, glaucoma, which is pressure in the eye. You focus on healing the root. Floaters, that's a very common one. We've had tons of people, they start doing the eye protocol and they're like, I've had floaters for years and they're just all gone. Like I can see clearly again. People stop, you know, they no longer have to wear glasses anymore because it's like you heal the eyes so that your eyes start working. The muscles, you know, your eyes are just controlled by these muscles. So when the eyes can focus properly, it's because the muscles are working. So they can focus for long distance vision and close up. So it's all a mechanical system. But if the mechanical system is not getting the energy that it needs, that's when you start getting these degradations in the eyes. So starting with, you know, like floaters and retinal thinning, age-related macular degeneration, which people usually get when they're older, because when they're older, that's when the toxins have built up so much in the liver gallbladder energy system and they're getting more depleted. And that's, again, a lot of people don't go out and spend time replenishing those life force energies in nature. So it's all interconnected. So you heal the energy system and the physical body then heals. Instead of focusing on, don't focus on chemistry. Well, we're going to put in these drops. We're going to try to control the symptoms, or we're going to do surgery. You know, people will get surgery on their eyes, but then they have all these problems as a result of the surgery, you know, and that's true for any surgery anywhere in the body. You hear it all the time. It's like actually worse now after the surgery. And then the surgery caused all these other problems. And then people can go in this downward spiral, and then you just keep getting more and more pills. Well, now we're going to do this surgery to fix this problem from the previous surgery, and you want to put you on these drugs, and people get in this loop, and it just goes down and down and down. And all of that, all those drugs are also massive toxic buildup. They're all depleting that life force energy. So they just, you know, keep getting more and more depleted. more and more sick, illness and disease, and more pills to medicate the symptoms, none of which ever actually heal the symptoms or treat anything in the energy body. And it's the same thing when people are taking a bunch of supplements. It's not about putting more stuff in. When your body is working the way that it's supposed to, spleen, stomach energy, liver, gallbladder energy are working the way that they're supposed to, you eat real food. And by real food, I mean as close to how you find it in nature, you know, picking things off the tree, things that grow, you know, like vegetables, without being turned into all this refined stuff that's been, you know, so modified and it's no longer really food, but as close to food, you know, and from the animals, like the actual animal, then you eat the meat or the fish or the chicken or whatever it's like, but not turned into, you know, a pot pie with a bunch of like chemicals and artificial flavors and all kinds of garbage that's added into these prepared foods. So eating real food, and then your body will take in the nutrients. But you do have to get the spleen stomach energy working so that it can take in the nutrients, and the liver gallbladder energy so that the liver can detoxify as you're eating in anything, you know, that get the toxins out of the system. Anyway, so again, it's all interconnected. These are the two most common energy systems that I see that go out of balance.
Oh yeah,
And
just
again,
hearing you speak
tie into
about it,
this, yeah.
there's so much that, you know, I can tap into of what I've been through, and then even just using the Rejuvenator, but now there's the Green Juvenator, and you talk a lot about green and detoxifying, but can we go a little deeper with, I love how you just shared how the system works and how it slowly will deplete itself with the spleen and the liver. But what is the detoxification process with, you know, green in mind? And you can put in the Green Rejuvenator too.
Yeah, well, because of the fact that the liver gallbladder energy is, it's hard for people sometimes to, like, there are these, like I said, these energy systems, the color is part of that energy system. So green is the color of liver gallbladder. Red is a good color to think of because red is a stimulating, people can usually kind of grasp that. Red is a stimulating color. So when you see red, it actually stimulates the sympathetic nervous response, speeds up heart rate. It actually makes you have like a burst of energy. And that's the color of the heart and small intestine in the 5 element system. So it gives you this burst of energy, makes you do everything faster. It's also like part of the fight or flight, you know, response where it's like danger, which is why it's used for warnings and, you know, don't eat this, it's poisonous and things like that. So it gets your attention, but people can kind of get that kinesthetic, you know, oh yeah, when I see red, it kind of makes me feel more energy. It's used in marketing that way all the time as well, you know, if you want somebody to, like, you know, Coca-Cola, it's like got all the caffeine in it, so it gives you energy, right? So caffeine and, you know, things like cocaine, those have that same response in the body. They give you that energy, like the color red does it naturally. So the color green directly ties in with liver gallbladder energy. So that's why I mean, the Rejuvenator has massive detoxification aspects as well, because when you use it in certain areas and do the detox protocol, that's actually stimulating the gallbladder meridian directly to move those toxins out and through the body. So that's how it works. But when you do the Green Juvenator, that's like next level. I talk about the Rejuvenator is kind of like the Rejuvenator number 3, which is the universal formulation, which is a combination of visible red frequencies and is invisible near infrared, plus the quantum healing energy. So it's got the energy medicine component, like going out and being surrounded in nature, plus the red light therapy and the near infrared therapy. But the red light and the near infrared is a portion of its full healing formulation. So they work synergistically together. But like I said, you know, just getting sunlight in the middle of New York City is not going to be very beneficial. It'll be better than nothing, but it's still going to have a net negative effect. You need the healing energies that are found in nature. So that's what all of the formulations have, the quantum healing energies, that energy medicine component. The programming of the nature that comes in. So it actually fills up that life force energy gas tank and works synergistically with the different light frequencies. So the green juvenator has green and yellow, which target the liver, gallbladder, and spleen, stomach energy systems. So it's kind of like I explained it, the red juvenator number 3 is like kindergarten through master's level in your healing process. And when people have a specific need for liver, gallbladder, spleen, stomach healing, which is a high percentage of the population, because those are the 2 energy systems that I see that get affected most often. And again, stress is often the root of it. The spleen stomach aspect is the self-nurturing. So when people are, giving, but not nurturing themselves, that's when spleen stomach energy will get weak. But it can also get weak from liver, gallbladder being the origin and weakening spleen stomach energy. So anyway, the green and the yellow then specifically target liver, gallbladder energy and spleen, stomach. So it's kind of like next level, like PhD level healing. Most people get amazing results, complete healing with the number 3. Some people, it's like they want to get faster results. They want to be able to target that spleen, stomach energy and liver, gallbladder. Then they'll add in the green juvenator as an adjunct to the number 3. So, but I'll show you what it looks like if it shows up on camera here. Like we can actually see the color. Sometimes things are so bright. See, it just looks like bright. How can I? Oh, like here, you can kind of see it. Can you see green?
Yeah, no, I love that.
It's actually, yeah. So it's really hard to actually get. You kind of have to do it so it's.
Yeah, it's so incredible what you've created here.
Yeah, you can barely. This is actually on this one, this is the yellow part, but it's looking like green on the camera. And then this is just looking like white, the green. Anyway.
Oh, is that green? Okay.
It's hard. It's really hard to get it to show. But anyway, you
can feel it though. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Give the audience a little blast. Let your livers take that in, and spleen and stomach.
You can kind of see it if I shine it on my face, probably. Do I look green right now, or do I just look white?
No, I can see it. It definitely is showing its healing effects.
Anyway, but yeah, so the detoxification effect, it detoxifies the physical body and the energy body. So it dumps the toxins from the physical system and the energy system where those energies are getting blocked. And again, I'll give you some other symptoms that are related to liver, gallbladder, like just feeling under stress, agitation, anger flare-ups, like when people get, like a road rage, those kind of things. That's like liver yang rising, where the energy is so stuck. And then it's like a pressure cooker effect. There's something, it's like, I've got so much pressure, need to release the valve. And then people will get, this flare up in their face will typically turn red. It's like literally like the pressure going up in a pressure cooker, and the energy has to escape. Like it just like, and people will often get headaches from that. They'll get, and this is a good way to connect liver, gallbladder, and spleen, stomach. So when people get stressed out, so for example, like let's say somebody isn't used to public speaking, and then they have to go and talk in front of a large audience, and then they get like, the speaker thing. It's like either they vomit because they're so nervous, or they get diarrhea. They have to go poop. But that's the liver, gallbladder, that's the stress hitting liver, gallbladder energy, and it has to go somewhere. So it shoots over and pounces on spleen, stomach energy. So that's where you get the stuff in the stomach will go, and it'll go out one way or out the other way. But anyway, that's the same way that the detoxification happens when you use the green juvenator and the red juvenator during the detox protocol. It dumps everything into the bowels, and then you want to be able to poop it out. So that's the best way to get toxins out of your system. A lot of people think that, oh, I should go in a sauna and sweat. It's like, sweating is not the best vehicle for getting toxins out of the system. The best way to get out a lot of toxins is dump them into the bowels and then poop them out, pee them out, and also through expelling toxins from the breath. I mean, it's so important to be able to get fresh air and get rid of stagnant, the toxins that are in the gaseous form, breathe them out, and then breathe in clean air. So it's the same thing. What, you know, when you want to detox, you want to drink clean, pure water, and then you want to pee out the toxic stuff. So that's a lot of times people don't drink enough water. But the Rejuvenator #3 and the Green Juvenator, when you're treating, doing the detox protocol, then everything gets dumped into the bowels, and you just, you know, want to make sure you're pooping it all out. So it's like very fast detox. One of my dogs.
So green is amazing for that. We have so many beautiful fruits and veggies that assist in the healing of the
Exactly.
spleen, the kidney, the
Yeah.
liver. And
Well, and again, the green for like green leafy vegetables are really good for detoxification. You know, eating more green leafy vegetables. That alone, you know, is a huge thing. It's green. They're green.
chlorophyll, just like you said chlorophyll kind of mimics blood.
Yes, it's very similar in structure to blood, hemoglobin.
Yeah, so all these things, it is amazing, the healing powers and the detoxifying powers of green. And I think a lot of us know that, especially at this point in time, but it's amazing how the body works with it, you know, just by you sharing how the green and the yellow colors of the Rejuvenator, how they work, right? It's like they go in and detoxify the liver in that area first, and it just kind of all moves through the meridians to push the toxins out.
Right. Yeah, and that's where it's releasing stuff, it's releasing toxins from the cells. So I mean, they get tissues in the body will hold toxins. So when women have cellulite or men have beer bellies, that's the body's safe way of putting the toxic sludge somewhere that it's not going to harm you. It's like, here, you keep eating all this garbage, and like, you know, dairy is a really bad one. A lot of dairy will, like, it turns into phlegm. Phlegm is the term. It's like a combination of moisture and heat. So it's like a pot of soup cooking on the stove all day long at a low temperature. And then at the end of the day, you've got this pot of sludge, you know, because it's like cooked down. So that's like, we have these, you know, buildups of sludge in our physical body that have accumulated from, you know, things that are being eaten or toxic stuff that's being breathed in, but usually from a lot of it is from the diet. You combine that with the heat from the stress that creates excess heat in the body and imbalance, so that it's like an engine revving all the time. So then it's generating this heat in the body, that combine that with this dampness that's accumulated from spleen stomach energy not transferring fluids. That's why people, when they eat, sometimes they'll feel bloated afterwards. So they feel, you know, they get water retention and they feel really heavy. And if it's humid at all, they feel like terrible. They just feel like, oh, I'm so heavy, because they have so much dampness in their body already. And then they just, like, you go into an environment that has a lot of that, or a hot environment, like hot and damp usually makes them feel terrible. Which is why, you know, connecting that with the sauna discussion, a lot of people don't like hot rock saunas because they have all this toxic buildup, and going into a hot environment like that makes them feel like terrible. It's like, but it's actually much healthier to use a hot rock sauna than to use an infrared sauna, because the infrared is injecting heat directly into your body. So it's bypassing your biomechanic response to, like, say, okay, that's too much heat. Because if it's coming from the outside in, which is like a regular stove, you know, like you put a turkey in the oven and it cooks the turkey from the outside in. That's like a hot rock sauna. So you get the message, okay, I've been in here 5 minutes, now I need to go do a cold plunge. And then you can gradually build up from there. But it gives you the signal, okay, it's too much heat, I got to get out. Listen to that. But then you gradually build up and you can sweat out toxins. But again, the skin is not the ideal vehicle for getting rid of toxins. That's a secondary, well, not even a secondary use of it. Its primary role, and the pores are to regulate your body temperature through sweating. So it's like, it's supposed to keep your body temperature. It's not designed to get rid of massive amounts of toxins. I mean, you can only get rid of so much through sweating. I mean, without, like, you're going to be like dehydrated and all this other stuff. The best way to get rid of a huge amount of toxins is dump them into the bowels and then, you know, flush them down the toilet. So that's, you know, not to make, we're not even talking about the toxic buildup what most people have in their, you know, their intestines that's kind of accumulated.
The biofilm and all that lovely stuff. But
I got
Yeah.
off on a tangent, but
Well,
did I complete the thought? I don't know.
so I love hearing about the detoxifying and the healing properties of green. And we know that depression is a big area that we need to learn more knowledge about. And the green frequency plays a huge role in this. And so I'll let you kind of lead the way with, you know,
Yeah,
what can we learn?
because the emotion that's related to liver gallbladder energy, so when people have that stuck energy, the emotion is anger. So anger turned inwards turns into depression. So a lot of times people will have all this anger, but they don't feel like societally that they can express their anger. So they'll get angry, but it'll when it turns inwards, that's when people start suffering from depression. There are things that will exacerbate that, things that are taxing liver gallbladder energy will make you depressed. So thing like when people drink a lot of alcohol to feel better temporarily, then they feel depressed afterwards. So, and then it's that downward spiral. Same thing with marijuana. Marijuana actually targets the liver gallbladder energy system. So it might make you feel more relaxed temporarily, like drinking alcohol does, but then it actually depletes liver gallbladder energy. So people that you've probably seen, a lot of people when they smoke all the time, they smoke marijuana all the time, and then they get more and more like they lose their path and purpose in life. They're just kind of like, I just want to hang out, watch Netflix, and and then they get more and more depressed too. And then and it's directly coming from the excess consumption of the marijuana or excess consumption of the alcohol that's causing that liver gallbladder energy system to get more and more blocked and stuck. So alleviating all of that. Again, it's not about putting more stuff into the system. It's not about taking supplements. It's not about medicating yourself with alcohol and marijuana, which make you feel better temporarily, but then have the backlash effect. It's about getting the toxic sludge out of the system and filling up the life force energy. So that's where people often within the first week of using the red juvenator or the green juvenator, I mean, they're like, I feel happy again. I feel like I didn't even realize how depressed I was or how anxious I was until that's gone. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, I'm just like, I feel like myself again after so many years of having these. And again, it's the overlay and the overlayers of toxic sludge. It's not about, okay, I need to eat more superfoods or supplements or pills or stuff like that. It's about getting the garbage out. You get the garbage out, you fill up the gas tank, and it's as simple as that. So, and then you can literally heal anything and everything. And I mean, complete reversal of anything. I mean, even, children that are born with, issues. I had once somebody that their baby was born with leukemia, complete healing within like a couple months, complete healing, no more leukemia. People that have aggressive stage 4 cancers, complete healing and reversal of all of that. Anything you can think of, thyroid disease, dysfunction, more common things, Lyme disease, where people have Lyme being the symptom of the underlying problem, where then the toxins build and build and build. So then you actually have a thing that's creating even more toxicity in the system. So all of that complete healing and reversal from even like long-standing Lyme disease. I mean, there's like a long list of stuff that directly affects liver gallbladder energy system, hypertension, high blood pressure, complete healing of that. Same diabetes, because those are the symptoms of an underlying root problem. So Western medicine focuses on medicating symptoms instead of healing the root of the problem. So that's all tied in with, again, liver gallbladder and often spleen stomach energy. So that's why I see those two energy systems that are so often the root of so many problems. Neuropathy, same thing, distal foot neuropathy, hand neuropathy, joint pain, arthritis, because liver gallbladder energy controls the joints, tendons, and ligaments. So anything where you have pain throughout, like all of my joints are tight or painful or whatever, spleen stomach energy controls the muscles. All my muscles are tight. So again, those two energy systems that go and one goes out of balance affects the other one always. So, or vice versa.
Well, I love
So
that you resolved. I feel like the Rejuvenator and the Green Juvenator, that they take it 80% of the way. It's not only it's filling the tank and it's also releasing toxins. It's just incredible that you were able to download this beautiful healing machine. It's like, it's incredible of the levels that it heals. And then, we need to be accountable. We need to be
Yeah.
accountable of, what we're doing in our environment and how it's serving us,
Yeah,
on our day to
I
day.
would say that that's kind of an even, because the Rejuvenator and the Greenjuvenator will do 100% of the healing, but you still have to stop putting the sand in the gas tank. And that, what I call the sand in the gas tank, is you have to stop eating the toxic sludge. You have to stop, like if you have a super stressful job, dealing with the stress in a different way. But again, once the liver gallbladder energy starts flowing, you're not in that constant loop where every little thing is like, I'm so stressed out. And one little thing is like the straw that broke the camel's back. So, but eating real food, and the whole way of looking at, focusing on positive as opposed to everything is negative, because people have been programmed to think in this deficit mindset where there's never enough. But really, there's more than enough for all of us, for everything that you want to do. There's so much abundance. And when you start shifting that mindset, it's amazing how many things open up. But it's really hard to shift the mindset when you have so much toxic sludge built up in the system, because it's just like it doesn't flow. So you have to focus on getting the sludge out. And then, like I said, fill up the gas tank. So fundamental. And then it's amazing how much healing happens in the entire system. I mean, in the psyche, and it's all interconnected, and like the number 3 has this phenomenal stress, anxiety, depression, PTSD protocol. It's like complete factory data reset. So, but it's hard to start, when people have so much toxic buildup and they're conditioned to think, even from, alternative healing practitioners, here, you need to take these supplements. No, you don't. You don't need to take, you never have to take any pills or potions or anything like that. You need to eat real food, and you need to get the systems in your body working so you can get the nutrients out of the food. The basic chemistry building blocks that we need are so fundamental. And as you know, for the, even the DMT is in your body. So it's a matter of getting those things to turn on. And so that you get the basic building blocks through the food, the air, and the things that you're bringing in, this chi. And then it's like the body, when it's working properly, everything starts healing. Everything starts reversing. All of the aging, you literally grow younger. You literally grow younger. And everything starts working. Like now, I had, for decades, I had a liver that didn't function at all. I couldn't detoxify anything. I got to the point where I had so much redness and swelling on my face. It was terrible. I had to like clean out all that stuff. So I used to have to do a juice fast twice a year. But as soon as I started using, and I did that for 18 years, as soon as I started using the Rejuvenator, it completely healed my liver. So, and then it's like, oh my God, this is amazing, being able to eat and, drink alcohol if you want and not feel all these toxic effects. But then the Greenjuvenator, when I started using that took it to a next level. I thought I was really healthy. And then it's like you take it to a whole next level, and your digestion, it gets even better, and the detox helps even more. So anyway, it's just, people have to start somewhere. And when you're that stuck, you need help. You need to get things moving. And again, it's not about putting more stuff in the system. It's about getting out.
Simplicity and aiding. Yeah, the body will show you, when you can step into spaces like these and learn from yourself. Like, there's just so much information today that is so well rounded between healing and detoxifying. But again, it doesn't have to take long, and it very is much about simplifying. And out in this current collective matrix, whatever you want to call it, there's so much that they're trying to put a band-aid on. And again, it really just comes down to filling the energy within the body and detoxing. Two very simple things that we don't need much.
I know. Well, and reconnecting with nature, we've got so disconnected. And, the more people stay indoors and they're on their devices and they never get out, and it's being programmed to keep us more and more separated and more disconnected from nature. So fortunately, more and more people are waking up to that now, and going, I need to grow food. I need to be like connected to the land. And so that's all important. But yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Exactly. Well, thank you for being so informative yet again. There's so much that I'm taking in right now and wanting to go put the Rejuvenator on me. It's so funny when you talk about it, I'll start craving it. But
Yeah.
for our audience, there's so much to connect into with what Leanne is offering, and she shares so much here. But again, it doesn't have to be that complicated if you're in distress or having disease. There is so much just right here, and with the Rejuvenator and Green Juvenator, it's 100% healing. There's really little work for you to do except to really look into this device and then see how you can further make choices in your life. And from
Mhm.
here, I'll kind of let you share what's.
Oh, well, yeah, if people want to know more, they can go to my website, catalyticcolor.com. I have two websites. I have leannevenier.com, Leanne, V as in Victor, ENIER.com. That pretty much anything you click on there will shoot you over to Catalytic Color. But that was when I was a professional artist, I had that URL. So that has a lot of my paintings on it. But anything about the healing effects of color and light and energy medicine, it will direct you over to catalyticcolor.com, which is CATALYTICCOLOR.com. So the US spelling of color for people that are watching in the UK, because I'm from Canada and we spell it with a U, but it's COLOR. So it's Catalytic Color, CATALYTICCOLOR.com. And then I'm also on Instagram for people that are on there. There's like tons of testimonials from the group with people that share their amazing healing results in our community. So I have a free community that everybody gets to join. So you get to learn all this stuff. You don't have to just like try to memorize it. You get free personalized healing guidance and support whenever you need it. You ask questions in the group and I'm in there answering questions. So I'm teaching people this whole new way of thinking about taking back control over your health and healing process, because we have ultimate control over everything. It's not like Western medicine wants to make you believe you're a victim of your body. You have no control over all of this. You have complete control. So yeah, Instagram on Leanne Venier, Leanne, V as in Victor, ENIER. So like I said, hundreds of testimonials on there from people in the community share, and then they're like, yes, please share my testimonial outside of the group. And anyway, so there's lots of information.
There's
More testimonials on Instagram than on there's a lot on my website on the testimonials page, but I'm not very good about updating the website. So like that's a lot. There's some old stuff here, but it's good. It's still good.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, jump on Leanne's social media. It's not only just people healing, it's their animals too. And again, it's just, everything you share is always, there's so much for me to just sit with and know how incredible it is that we're at this place in this lifetime, no matter what's going on, we have so much at our access to heal and to heal fast and quickly. And, I appreciate you for just simplifying, really what it means to be human in these days and to be healthy.
I really appreciate all the amazing work that you're doing as well, Shannon, because it's
Thank
all
you.
village. Yeah, and the more of us that are out there helping people and helping to make you realize it's not that complicated. It's actually very simple to take back control of your own health and healing, and then stay healthy, and not just stay healthy, actually grow younger. So and it's within everybody's reach, and having this abundance and not being in this mindset of like, there's never enough. It's like, no, there's plenty, and there's healing. And when you get your health back and you're not constantly in pain and feeling exhausted and depleted, the quality of your life is just like exponential. And then you can take that healing energy out and help other people in the world. And that's ultimately what I teach. It's like, pay it forward, go out of your way to help others whenever you can. It's really hard to do that though, when you're feeling sick and miserable. So but again, that's all part of it. It's like you put that energy out in the world, that healing energy, and then we get in flow. The energy comes through you. It's not about getting stuck. It's about letting everything flow. And when you're in flow, everything becomes effortless. Things land in your lap, opportunities, as you know, it's like things just show up, manifest effortlessly. It's not about, oh, I have to work so hard. It's like, no, it's like everything just happens so easily. It feels like magic, because it kind of is.
100%. So yeah, so jump on board, check us out. We're here to just hold you guys and support you in the best health and healing. And yeah, we'll have more conversations. We have more colors to just tap into. But again, go out in nature, get grounded, take in all that green frequency. And yeah, from here, I'm Shannon with Quantum Heart Conversations. And thank you again, Leanne. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
And I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.